Hi Cancer, welcome to your May 2016 Tarotscope. It's Rena here. And so in any case, wow, I really think it's going to be a very interesting month based upon the cards that I picked for you. But before I begin talking about them, I just wanted to go over a little bit of the astral weather for the month of May. There are two main concentrations of energy in May for all of the signs, and they are the sun, and the personal planets like Venus and Mars being in Taurus. And so for you, that's the 11th house. And then there's also a lot of Sagittarius energy because Mars and Saturn are retrograding in this sign. And then we also have a full moon happening in Sagittarius. So that's your 6th house. I'll start with that. Okay, so you have Mars in retrograde in the 6th house. This will be going direct at the end of June, June 29th to be exact, I believe. And during this time, when there's Mars in retrograde, it may be something that you have to look at with your health, and especially when the full moon hits. There's going to be 2 full moons. The other one is going to be on the 20th of June at 29 degrees of Sagittarius. So something may come to your attention and then you get it resolved in June. This could have to do with your workplace. You may, move to a different work environment, or you may get a lot more work. Sometimes full moons can bring things, in abundance, I think, So there's different possibilities with this full moon, but with Mars in retrograde, you may have a hard time really taking direct action. You may feel somehow that something is blocking you from acting. And the trick of a Mars retrograde is not to allow yourself to get upset over this, not to get angry, even if it's just minor irritation, and not to feel like even physically you can't move. You may feel a lot less vital physically. And so you might want to do something that's less vigorous. Like Tai Chi is a good example of that, where you don't expend a lot of energy, but you still move your prana, or your ki, whatever you call it. Tai Chi, I guess they call it Chi, sometimes it's called Ki, I think. But anyway, your energy, moving your energy around in a gentle way. And you have had Saturn in this house. So Saturn in the 6th house can make you serious about nailing down some health, routines, including diet. I don't like to say diet though, but lifestyle, because it shouldn't be something that is just done temporarily to achieve a temporary goal. It's so commonplace to go on a diet and then, oh good, I've lost 30 pounds, and then right back into the trough, and not thinking, not being conscious about it. Saturn has a way of really paring things down. So it could be very good for your diet and lifestyle to lead a simpler lifestyle. And, Virgo is the natural ruler of the 6th house. And Virgo is all about simple living and, not making things complicated. So that can be a very positive influence. People look at the dark side of Saturn, but actually Saturn can, give us a lot of discipline. And in the 6th house, this is particularly important. So basically, I want to talk about too that Taurus energy in the 11th house. And what's great about that is that the 11th house is the house of hopes and wishes. Now, it also deals with your friendships and any group associations that you have. So it could be affecting those as well. We will have a new moon there on the 6th of May. So you may join a new group, or you may, make a new friend. But it could also be because of the Mercury retrograde that you hear from an old friend. Maybe you had some falling out and you make up with a friend. And that's where the new moon comes in. That's always a possibility. But what's really interesting about this energy is that Venus being there can be very helpful for if you did have a falling out. It can increase the harmony and increase your attractiveness to groups of people, and this can even help you financially. And so, for instance, if you're in the corporate world and you have to speak to groups on a regular basis, this may put money in your pocket. So that's really wonderful as well. So I'm just going to get right back into the cards because, or not back into them, but into them, because I've been going on so long since I started filming these readings. I've divided the month into 3 periods. So this is, I should say too, because the first period is going to lead up to the Jupiter going direct. Now, for you, Jupiter, because Jupiter is retrograding in Virgo, for you is your 3rd house. So you may have had, since January when Jupiter went retrograde, maybe there was some slowdown. If you had an internet business or some kind of connection to the internet, or a writing project that was really going gangbusters, and then all of a sudden it ground to a halt, that may have had to do with the Jupiter retrograde. So you may start to see these things pick up. And this may have to do with some kind of issue in your community. Maybe you were involved with something. Jupiter brings luck and expansion to whatever house it transits through. So, this year until September is really good for you. And as a matter of fact, with one of the cards that I picked, it may even relate to moving to a new place and that being a very lucky location for you. So after the 9th of May, you may start to see some of this kind of come into play. So just be on the lookout for that. So that's the first period up until about the 9th or 10th, and then we have the middle and then the last 10 days of the month. And this is the overall energy. So I picked the High Priestess card, and that's more of an internal energy. That's you connecting to your higher self. In a lot of ways, you can say this is like the Hermit card, which is also of the major arcana. The High Priestess card is the number 2 card in the deck. And I feel like, as a Cancer and a water sign, you are naturally intuitive as it is. So this may just be a time when you feel particularly in tune with your higher dimension for some reason, your higher self. Or it could be saying that if you do utilize this, that you will benefit from it in some way. I feel like the first part of the month, you're going to, come into May like with all everything just on the highest cylinders, because we have the Judgment card as your energy. And this is kind of like a feeling of rebirth, of rejuvenation. So maybe you were going through something and now you feel kind of free of it. And definitely the Fool card indicates that, because this is kind of you just throwing caution to the wind and just going out unknown like a babe in the woods and not really caring where you're going, what you're going to do. This is not typical for a Cancer. Cancers are very security-minded. So in order to do that, you would have to really have gone through a lot. Now, I feel like all the cardinal signs, including Cancer, and that would also include Capricorn, Aries, and Libra individuals being cardinal signs, you have gone through a lot of stuff and continue to go through a lot of stuff because of those outer planets. These are very long-term transits of Uranus and Pluto in cardinal signs. And so, for instance, Uranus is in Aries and Pluto is in Capricorn. That's your opposing sign. So when you see this and it's making kind of hard angles, challenging angles to your sun or ascendant, it can really, or maybe even some of your other personal planets, it can really wreak a lot of havoc in your life. Because if you think about what Uranus represents, it represents something that, it represents a lot of erratic activity, a lot of unpredictable behavior, a lot of rebellious energy. It shakes things up, basically. And so you may have felt this, in your basic sense of self. You may have felt like these things, and it might come from outer events that have forced you to not, feel so certain about who you are and what you're about, because you're being impacted by things beyond your control. But it's all good. The cardinal energy in and of itself is very much in its shadow aspect control freak energy. And so in the positive aspect, it tends to be the initiator. And so cardinal signs, I believe, tend to be very successful people in that they are good at taking action. They're not the type of people to sit around and just talk about what they want. They really go for it. Sometimes, especially with a sign like Aries, there's a lot of impatience and rash behavior, and so that can get them into a bunch of messes. But overall, when you take action, you empower yourself. And so you tend to be a catalyst for the things that happen in your life. You're not as passive as certain other signs tend to be. And even though you're, as a Cancer, a water sign, and someone who, the water signs are feminine energy, and they tend to be passive in some regard, it's not the case in terms of, when you're motivated to do something, because you will do it. And more times than not, I think this is helpful for you because it moves your life along. So I feel like there's a very significant time during that first third of the month, because you have two major arcana cards, and they both point to endings and kind of resurrection and just totally new beginnings, zero. It doesn't get much more unknown and beginning energy than that. And the fact that you're willing to do something that isn't something that you know in advance is going to help you, because the outcome is the Four of Wands, and it has to do with either marriage or a happy home environment, a new home. It could be that for some people, maybe you received a judgment from a divorce proceeding, and now you're totally decided to move to a new location. You don't really know much about it, but you just want to make a whole fresh start. and you find your dream house or your dream location. For other people, it could be that you got divorced and now you're getting married again. I wouldn't say, I think that, the judgment, I think it's more, if you are getting married or, moving in with a significant other, I feel that the judgment card is just more about the rebirth of how you feel towards life right now, is that you feel very new, you feel very fresh, there's a fresh feeling, and there's a significant feeling in this period. For those who are in a work environment, I feel like it's also a very good situation for you. You may have decided to quit a job recently, and you're not concerned about it, whereas maybe in the past, you would have really agonized over doing such a thing, but maybe you wanted to have that happy home life. Maybe it was taking too much from you, and now you feel rejuvenated because you have more time. Maybe you're not even working, or maybe you retired finally, and you were putting off retiring because you were worried about financial security, and you finally just took the plunge, and you feel very good. But for some of you, you might have quit so that you could be there for your children at home. That's always a possibility. Whatever choice that you've made in the recent past, I feel like it's in May, at the beginning of May, you're really rejoicing in the fact, because it's really going to help you, and it's starting a whole new phase in your life. The middle period, I think, is going to be the most challenging period, if it's challenging at all. It might not be. It all depends on how we read the cards. The Seven of Swords can indicate the need to be discreet about some situation. So for those who are possibly, maybe you didn't make that switch, but you are you're ready to leave, you're ready to move, or you're ready to start a new life, either, with a new job or a new relationship. There still may be some unfinished business, but you can't directly address it for some reason. So you may have to kind of use clever tactics to extricate yourself from a marriage or even a job that, for instance, let's say that you have another job offer, but you still don't want to burn bridges, so you have to kind of go around the issue to get out of it, rather than just do something blatant. You have to, maybe some people will decide to move, but they're going to do so quietly. Maybe they're going to elope. Maybe you're not going to have a big family thing, especially if this is your second wedding. You may have decided, if your first marriage was kind of more motivated by other people, this may be your true love, and you may say, you know what, this isn't about anybody else. I'm not here to be a show off. I just want to get married, and I'm going to go off and do it myself. And this card, this middle card, is about seeing, a brighter path ahead of you. It's a portal to step through. So is this. The two indicate sometimes decisions that have to be made. And I feel like in that middle period, that whatever has been kind of bouncing around in your head, you may still have some residual anxiety about it. So if there is, if you're like kind of chomping at the bit, maybe this energy is kind of the potential waiting for you when you finally kind of tap into your higher self and really understand that, it's all good. Maybe you're still plagued by these types of anxieties about what is actually going to happen if you make certain choices. Just realize that you have a lot of support for you this month. And of course, we are going to be coming into a period of your birthday month, starting in late June. So come to think of it, towards the end of May, as the sun goes into Gemini, this is your 12th house. And so this is really connected to, I think, the Nine of Swords. The 12th house is the house of undoing, of self-undoing. In other words, the ways that you sabotage yourself. But it's on the unconscious level, so it could be buried psychological issues. And when the sun goes there and Mercury and stuff, there can be a lot of feelings of discomfort, because you kind of get these kind of hits, these psychic hits that may be of the past, of memories that were repressed, and maybe they come out in dreams for some of you. And it's really a cleansing process, but remember that until late June or during July, you're going to have to deal with 12th house matters, and maybe that is maybe this is going to be on hold until you can get through all of that. But it's remember that the minor arcana cards are just snapshots in time. They are not long-lasting energies. So don't think that this is going to be all pervasive for you during May, because it's not. This is intended for the 10 days in the middle of the month, and it's just really like looking at what kind of triggers do you have still regarding what brings you anxiety. And likewise, then we have in the third week, we have the Ten of Swords. So I feel like there can be, but I do feel like this could also be with a career situation. Whenever I see the Ten of Swords, I think immediately of a love situation, like a betrayal, because somebody's getting stabbed in the back. So it's something that didn't feel like you knew it was coming necessarily. You find out something that isn't so pleasant about a loved one, but it can be too in the business world that you feel betrayed also. Luckily, we have the Ace of Pentacles, so we have a beginnings with material matters, including a job, possible new job offer. So maybe, during this middle period, maybe somebody has been doing something against you. Maybe somebody's been stealing your ideas, stealing your resources, not paying you what you're worth is a form of theft, you could say. If you find somebody else is making more money than you, or you didn't get your commission, whatever it is, and you're seeing, greener grass elsewhere, but you're plagued by not knowing if it's going to pan out. Well, the third, the last period of the month will kind of be a time when the worst is over. You've hit bottom, and you're able to kind of open your energy up for a new beginning in money making, or you receive some money for some reason. This could also be a new relationship with an earth sign person. Maybe maybe this was an air sign. Maybe this was a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius person that you were dealing with that you had to get away from. That's always a possibility. Or somebody who has it as a rising sign. And maybe there's a new beginning in a relationship with an earth sign person. The outcome is a Page of Cups, so there's an emotional connection to this. I feel, again, that this connects to psychic matters. It could be related to a child. Maybe, again, as I said with this card, that you could have been thinking about your child and wanting a better home environment for your child, and this allows you to do so. Maybe either you get a new job that's going to pay for this nice home, or you're going to be able to, just make enough money to have a comfortable life for your family. And but I feel like tapping into your intuition will be very beneficial to you in the month of May, Cancer. I had to think for a moment. So I picked a card for you from the Law of Attraction deck from Abraham Hicks. I always can't tell if you can see these things. This is a really beautiful deck, and the wording is a little bit abstract and unusual, and so that's the only reason why I'm not sure if people would really resonate with it too much. But I wanted to, put it to some use. So it says the universal law of attraction defined. That's the card I picked for you. The law of attraction says the essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn. And while this may seem like a rather simple statement, it defines the most powerful law that affects all things at all times. For nothing exists that is unaffected by this powerful law. And so as I talk about this Nine of Swords, this energy of anxiety, remember that whatever you focus upon increases. So if you choose to see things in their worst possible light, and you don't say, you know what, this could be something good, if you're overly cautious, which is one of the things that Cancer tends to be at times, it can prevent you from that expansion, which this is like somebody who wants something more, who's looking through. It's got the, let me put this up here. It's got the world in his hands. And this is the Morgan Greer deck, by the way. It has these stars for the background. I love those. But yeah, so it's really wanting that expansion, but you have to override your fears. And the way that you do that is through meditation and trying to connect with your higher self to see if you are in alignment with what your purpose is. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there, Cancer, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, please click on the link below. I have different types of readings, and take care of yourself. Bye.